power, you got the strength. All you need is a will, this is the knowledge you got to learn. Because it is real, you can be anything, you can be anything, you can be anything, oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
I've come to realize that we have to appreciate who we are in relation to who we are becoming. Don't worry about the rest. You can't control where you came from, but you can influence where you end.
Mm.
And I look at even my sisters and I say, Queen, you've been through a lot. Failed relationships, you were cheated on, you were lied on, you were taken for granted, your work was not appreciated.
Yeah.
Drop that. Whomever you have with you, take the time to build. Don't worry about your father and your mother's relationships. This great mentor mother of mine told me, she said, my son, your generation calls it a divorce. My generation called it, would you go to America for what take care of? You said it.
Grandkids.
I'm not going to say it.
I think so America to take care of the grandkids.
Well, what do you think you were showing your kids? Their father was not good enough.
Wow.
He wasn't. So you left. Right? And the thing I learned too is this. Don't try to leave your current relationship off of the memories of someone else's. If your mother didn't have a pleasant relationship, it is not your place to come and correct it. It's your place to build ones. And to the men, our fathers, I love my father passionately. I respect the man. And the thing I learned about my father is as long as you strive to become the better version of yourself, what else matters? My father was a typical Cameroon soldier guy who would, the prototype.
Yeah.
And after he retired, I saw a different side of my father. I actually learned more about him after his retirement.
It's the same thing with my dad. I enjoyed my dad the most after his retirement. I had the most conscious and deep conversations with my father after he retired. What is this thing?
It's no fault of theirs. Because if you go back and you try to do the sociogenesis analysis of why they did what they did, how they did it, you will be cheating yourself. The clock is ticking, your time is running. Take what you can. More importantly, appreciate it. Somehow we have been groomed into believing that we should appreciate what we like. That's good. But appreciate what
you
have before you wake up to the crude reality of it's gone.
Collings. Whew.
You have to appreciate it. That's why when we date, when we parent, when we marry, when we work, That's another thing I really appreciate. You're thinking about this man can be the most active guy in bed. First of all, let's look, so let's get real. Somewhat, this man has to work and deal with social issues. By the end of the day, the bro is like, okay, let me keep it together to give mama some seasoning for the evening.
Mhm.
He ain't gonna come in there and perform to you like them, like those
Like
people
it's
you
like
see.
it's the Saturday mornings. What about Saturday mornings?
So no, Saturday mornings are very unique. Okay, I had my routine. I must tell you, and if I'm lying, my ex can testify to this too. But Saturdays were my mini Sabbath. Those were the mornings. That was the day of the week I dedicated to my wife at the time. Don't worry. She liked her own things. So I already put in the back of my mind. As a soldier and being a commanding officer, you know, you're gone. You have to be the first one at your company. You work out before your team comes, your company comes, you work out with them, you work, then you come home, and then you still. So Saturday mornings to me were I have to cook breakfast for the most part.
It was a treat.
I have to take the kids out, right? I do the laundry. I'm not saying she wasn't. And oh, by the way, let's get real. Man, raise your sons to know how to clean their own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not raising my daughter to go be someone's housemaid.
Mhm.
Now, let's get real. Raise your sons to do their
We
own
got to
chores.
raise these boys right.
That's a different topic, but that's a great point. Teach them, model, as a matter of fact, do their laundry, clean the house, cook for the family. Saturday was, for me, community service to my family.
Mhm.
By 5 p.m., 6 p.m., after we got home, because I took those kids out, and heck, girl, I worked them out.
Mhm. Make sure that they are broken.
They are from the trampoline park to sometimes
So
I
a
take
jump
them
house.
to a jump house and whatever. And oh,
They're tired by the time
by
they
the
come
time they got
home.
home, Sam's Club was like a routine for us.
Mhm.
On our way back, we'll do groceries. And I always said, hey man, what do you need? And this and this, right? I was like a patrol officer in my house, by the way. And my wife used to, in the beginning, she was like, you do too much.
Mhm.
I said, yeah, because if I don't do it now, I will be doing far too less. And if I'm doing less, it'll be more problems. So I'll open the refrigerator and look, is there enough milk,
Mhm.
cheese, eggs, this.
Mhm.
On my way back from work, hey baby, don't worry about it. I'll pick this up. Right? I even remember even my in-law at the time would be like, this man, nothing will ever finish inside the house. Yeah, because you know what? I want my wife to focus on other things,
Mhm.
to replenish herself, right? So it was an act of service. It was. So serving breakfast, doing all of these things, they are acts of service that we as men have taught ourselves. Before we are judged, before I'm not here to do the apology for men.
Mhm.
Because by the way, queens, um, you see the man that looks like nothing before you, you have a son.
Mhm.
So maybe the dogs that we describe in society
We are raising them.
are bred in the environments we know.
We are the ones breeding those
I
dogs.
am not blaming a woman. I think women are phenomenal. They are the essence of God. in human form, because how you could carry another human being in your stomach for in your womb for 9 months. I can barely stand a stomach ache for 9 seconds, not more of 9 minutes. But you have to carry for 9 minutes. There is power in you. That man's deficiencies are opportunities. And when we get to the point where we understand that we need to share this journey called life, we will not be too worried about the picture perfect person.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't even exist. That's a mind
A girl
thing.
told me, she said, my father was the most absent person in my life, but he was the best provider. So now when she relates with a man in her life, she relates with him from a position of provision.
You don't have to be there. Provide for me.
Provide for me. You're not doing enough for me. I need money for this. And the guy says, I love you, darling, but I can't do it right now. Wow. You're not a man. You're not this. But let me tell you, I watched a video the other day. Judge Judy. No, not Judy. She's a popular judge on TV. And she said something to the effect of, never hit a man to a place where his identity, I don't like the word ego, by the way, his identity is crushed. He never forgets it.
Yeah.
Same thing applies to a man. If you know your woman's weaknesses and deficiencies, cry for help, but don't undermine her. But here's the problem. In our own context where we grow up in, a cry for help is what? It's a weakness. Could that be the baseline for why people behave certain ways? Because people no longer feel comfortable crying in the midst of those they call their own. I like our community meetings, but I started taking a step back from most of them because we talk about everything the way we should.
Yeah.
You see, when a marriage goes sour, the popular thing is that man was not responsible.
Oh, yeah. Finger pointing begins.
Or the woman is this. Let's get real. Since when in our communities did we even have council of men who are mentoring other men? Like literally, if you walk into an elderly man's presence today and you said, who are you mentoring in your community? You know what happens? We are in this mindset of, I am on top, others must be below. And as long as they can monitor what I am doing, I think I've done my part. But let me tell you, each generation that comes after you is more susceptible to catching the loopholes. Some people, they will keep quiet and die in agony.
So speaking out.
Instead of speaking out. And I'll tell you this. There is no weapon of mass destruction much greater than a relationship in which your partner cannot speak up freely.
Yeah.
If you have to get an emotional reaction to your partner speaking up, you are not yet ready for a relationship. That's why a lot of people suffer and end up in failed relationships. I should be comfortable enough to tell you that I don't think let me say I don't think. When you do this, it makes me feel this way. We are addressing a particular instance. We're not addressing you, we're addressing that instance. But what happens? I'm not bashing sisters here.
Yeah.
But when he speaks up about that thing, what do you, I'm not going to say it. What ends up happening? The silent treatment, all right? We go on click, click,
Shut down.
lockdown, right?
No access.
No access. And I'll tell you this, some brothers, anyway, that's a different topic. But yeah, they can go sit in the closet and whatever. I don't even know, right? Because it's interesting what you hear other people say is their coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is this. More than who people see you to be, become somebody your natural environment appreciates. Man like woman. I share with my fellow brothers. If she's having a movie day, that's not when you become rational. Listen to her. Validate her emotional state. Even though sometimes you can sit there and be like, Chineke, within the album. So is this about Sandra in the office we're talking about to an extent where now somehow I am connected to this story? It's okay. Because women, they are connected to how they feel.
Mhm.
We are, okay, so this is the problem. Let me fix it.
Yeah.
So you see, honor the feelings, acknowledge it, grow in your listening skills and comprehension, and then subsequently find a time to say, hey, baby, can we talk about this?
Talk about specific things.
Let's talk about the specifics. Let's talk about who we're becoming as a couple. What is important to you? And you gotta take off the gloves. I say this without any fear of reservation. If any time you have to put on gloves in your relationship, the problem is not the person you're trying to find. The problem is you. Because you see everything as an opportunity for a fight. Remove the gloves. And give the person the sense of, I want to take in what you have to say. But now, there are going to be boundaries. We're not going to raise our voice. We are going to treat each other with dignity and respect. Far too often, who we're becoming becomes problematic because we have deviated from the baseline. Whatever this conversation is about, whatever we do, we will treat each other with dignity and respect. That's what love is all about. Don't tell me you love me. Don't buy me the flowers. Don't buy me the car. Don't give me the money. Now, I'm not saying don't give the sister the money. Well, you can. Now, let's get real. All right?
Yep. Mhm.
I don't have to go broke because I have to impress you. Who are you, a robber? Yeah. If you don't know your partner to the extent what he makes and she makes, you guys are in trouble.
And that's already a danger zone, right?
Big one. There are many men who don't know what their wives know,
Vice versa.
and vice versa. Thank you.
Sorry, I spoke it out for you.
No, but you're right. But what's the issue here? We don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
The only person you can never cheat on in this world is your subconscious mind.
Yourself. You own it, right?
You hide all what you can. The day you either become incapacitated or you leave this world, the truth about you comes out. So, in essence, are we saying that we are beautifying a life of lack of sincerity?
Yeah, because people are scared to speak out. People are so, as you just said, I think it comes a lot from that judgmental fear of judgment, fear of fail. Again, we've talked about different kinds of fears here, right? The whole failure thing. People are scared to fail. People are scared to cry out because they don't want to. They don't want the people around them to feel like, oh, this person. Like again, there's just a lot of. I think we're going around with a lot of guards. And this is a question that I've asked someone before. I'm like, yeah, I'm not married, but I've not even had that, let me call it the luxury. I'm getting to 40 soon. And I should be able to say, hey, have I had that luxury of living with someone and experiencing what it is like? I talk about things like this because through this, just based on popular, again, don't blame me, my head is out there, right? I'm hearing what the world is saying. That is I'm basing my judgment, everything I'm basing all of this on what I hear, not what I have experienced, right? And based on what I hear, what I see, there is a confusion of, hey, is this even worth it? You get it? Is being with someone even worth it? Not so long ago, I asked a friend, and he was like, hey, you see the peace you have now, just being the single mom to Haley? Enjoy it. Because the moment you start wishing that you had a companion, be ready that there's not going to be peace. And then I sit back and I ask, is it really true? Does it mean that to have a companion, to be in a relationship, to be married, you can't have peace? Is that really the definition of what it is? It's just, again, I'm just saying this because I find it really crazy. And if you've gotten to my age, my level of maybe, let me call it again, I'm still work in progress, but I can always say that I've come a long way. I've experienced life in my own way. I have built for myself. But if there is something that I feel like I still need, and I feel like I need, let me put it that way, is a companion, right? And if my biggest fear is, hey, that companion, whoever it is coming to take away the peace I have now, then why is it even worth it? Right? Is it even worth it? So it is such a confusing, I don't know, I don't even know how to call this, but again, that was me just expressing myself based on the last thing we just talked about. But hey, you know what? As you say, if I don't get into the sea, I cannot figure out how to swim, right?
That's right.
So
But let's go back to your word fear.
yeah,
False evidence appearing real.
false evidence appearing real. Yeah, so what I fear, do you think that what I fear is what I'm going to attract?
I think to some extent, because again, like I said earlier, right, when we started, our subconscious is the baseline of so much more that happens. And that's why I believe that meditation is an indispensable component of our lives. You can meditate in various forms, but you gotta develop a routine for yourself where you come into the presence of who you are. A lot of people seek relationships as a way of not dealing with themselves. That's their real. You know what your insecurities are. You may be very much on the image. You're someone with a short fuse. Easily go off. Right? I dated this lady, and when I tell you, an amazing person, but her fuse was like, whoa. Okay, that doesn't make you a bad person. You have to come to terms with who you are. You have to own it. Meditation. You have to write priorities out. I know we started the conversation from who we're becoming, from the journey to America to here,
Yeah.
but nothing we get compares to who we become. You have to write priorities out to you. You see, before that man or woman meets you, they should know what are goals and no goals to you. Doesn't make them right, doesn't make them wrong, but they are your priorities: spiritual, physical, emotional, financial, relational, professional. A lot of people we meet. Now, if you go and do this training, I'm not going to call any names, right? In 2 days, you will become, in 3 minutes, you will become, in 30 seconds, you will become. But you see, the point is, we have put the importance on what we become, not so much on who we become. So when we get to that what, now who is down here and is struggling. So that's why when you have a stressful moment at the office, you balance it on the people at home. So you got to set priorities. And when you meet that person, I love these chairs. I love having it. I said this to a lady I was dating. When I say date, a lady I dated, it's not like I'm on a dating market. No, 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 no. I am not on the dating market. So let me just make that clear. I am not a smart guy. I'm not handsome. I am not. So I'm just focused, right? But the few times I happen to have been, and they were eye openers to me, more so about myself, not that person. Defining priorities. If you're going to get into a relationship, make it clear. Mr. Baby, which by the way, someone once told me, he said, don't call me lady. That's very disrespectful. You know, being a lady is the apex in the English language, or one of the endearing terms
My
of
lady.
respect. My lady, right? But anyway, you gotta respect people. And you have to sit down. Sex is not everything. It's not. I'm sorry. They say to men, learn to make love to your woman before she walks into the bedroom. Let's flip that as well. Sister, learn to turn on that brother as well before he makes it into the bedroom. Because if he were to open, and this I say this without any limitation to genders, if you don't take the time to know how your partner's day works and to empower them, what you find in the bedroom is just a microcosm of so many things. So set your priorities. You know yourself. You may be someone with a high libido. Your sexual appetite is unique. Your partner's sexual appetite may be different. Talk about it. Don't be ashamed. If your partner cannot perform certain gymnastics like you, because some people are natural gymnasts,
Oh yeah.
right? If your partner cannot perform certain gymnastics, then you would, right? Talk about it. Find a healthy medium. Finances. Be transparent. What is this thing that money has become the status symbol of everything?
It's in the core. We are all putting money in the center of everything, which is not where money belongs.
Money doesn't. Money just gives you the ingredient, the seasoning to an experience. You can never be on a cruise all the days of your life. You can have a Bentley, but the truth of the matter is that you will not sleep in that Bentley. Heaven knows your bed will not even be as worthy as that bed.
Isn't that true for many people in this world?
So we have to come to a point where we should not be getting into relationships or becoming better versions of ourselves under the influence of fear.
This whole fear thing, it's a serious problem.
It's bad. Like
There's a serious
people
problem.
are on alert mode. I have never seen. I was an army officer. Readiness is number one. But you see, stepping out of the army for a little bit, you realize that, oh my goodness, we live in a society which everybody is on the edge.
Yep.
We're like a microwave. You want it done fast, quickly, go. No. Pause. I used to do this with my significant other. I said, pause. I want to be in the moment with you. How are you doing? What? You see, I didn't get this. No. I did not talk about what. I'm talking about you.
You.
So my point is, we have to come home to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know the brother said, well, you see the peace you have and everything. No. Let's get real.
Mhm.
You see, the commercial sector has generated stuff that people can use to replicate the presence of another human being.
It's not. It does not work. It's not the same. It's not. It is not. I don't think that the commercial sector, come talk of our AIs that living and walking around, they will never take the place of a human being, especially if you're someone who desires a human being. Of course, there are people out there who are fine with. Remember, single life is a vocation, right? There are people who are fine with that. They're good. That is their choice. But if for any second you're a woman like me, and all what is blocking someone like me from adventuring into all of this is just that fear, then I'm calling you put me in a place to think of my subconscious. Like, because now just by talking to you, and hey, my dear listeners, we all know that when I bring this guest, I always call myself the first beneficiary, right? Because I get to learn a lot. I speak to people who are way more experienced than I am, people who have come across things. And to me, this is an opportunity for me to learn. And I chose to have this conversation on the podcast so that someone listening as well could benefit from it, right? But I always want to grasp as much as I can for myself. And now I'm just rethinking, just by sitting here and watching Captain Sakwe speak, it's like, I need to think about my fears. What am I afraid of? Right? And that's something that I need to take into my knee space. I need to take into my meditation spot. For real. What am I afraid of and why am I? Oh God. That's not why I brought you here, but you see the things you do. Sometimes you never know what awaits us. When we invite people, you don't know what they're coming with, right?
And that's what we started off by saying, no boundaries, right?
Yes.
But let's take this to the thing is,
Yes.
and I learned this, right? Set priorities.
Yes.
But more importantly, set boundaries.
Yeah.
I can only speak for myself, right? I'm not perfect, but I make a conscious effort to be a better person.
Mhm.
I make a conscious effort to be a better listener. I make a conscious effort to be a better servant. Because whomever God brings into my life, you best be prepared to know that I am the servant to a greater leader, and I serve you by making myself a conduit. Don't take aim at me, because you're gonna hit at the wrong target. There's a song I love to listen to. I give myself away so you can use me.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
I gotta give myself away every day of my life. Is 1 second closer to the source. Call him whomever you want, but I call him my God. So I gotta set my priorities, but I also have to set the boundaries. And the one thing I promised myself, I'm becoming. When I came to the US, it was go get it, go get it, go get it, go get it. But then when I came, what a divorce did for me, and I don't advocate divorces, but what a divorce did for me was I really appreciated who I was more than who I was becoming to preserve a marriage. If it ain't working, it's okay. Don't fight it. Just don't leave bitter.
Yeah.
Your priority is to live a healthy life. Your boundary should be not to entertain negativity. Whether you like it or not, that person you're in a relationship with, they bore kids for you. You happen to have had children.
Mhm.
If you didn't, there was something about them that made you feel good. Come on now.
Yeah. Of course, there must have
Y'all
been
went on a
something.
date,
Yeah,
the lights were off.
You had a
There was- So
honeymoon.
don't forget that. Set a boundary. Priority, healthy relationships, boundary. There's this amazing sister I call Rosita. She says, toxic, very toxic.
You're always talking about that.
Don't be toxic.
Comedian.
That's the boundary. Don't be toxic.
Yeah.
Priorities and boundaries. But the other thing I say is remove the notion that the best life exists.
Mhm. I'm living my best life.
Oh, come on. What is your best life?
That's the question. That's the follow-up question. That
If I focus on becoming a better version of myself, what an amazing experience.
Mhm.
You see, she is special, right? I'm not going to call her name. She is special. And she says, listen to me. Or her famous expression is, you know what? And I go, oh boy. You know what is a call sign to you to come to terms with yourself? And I automatically dial myself into that mode and I say, all right, brother, time to grow up, right? Discover yourself. The person in your life is there to help you discover. You know how many hours people spend watching National Geographic, the Discovery channels and all that? Oh, something is on there. I want to discover. What is that animal going to do? Bring that back to yourself. Discover yourself. If your partner is not the best communicator, discover yourself. Are you a better listener?
Mhm.
Don't focus on them being a poor communicator. Are you a better listener? If your partner is all about you are the man, so you should pay for this or you should do this, discover yourself. Maybe that's our own indicator for you to stretch yourself to the capability of what God has put in you. Because women have a unique disposition, I must say. A good woman can birth you into the best version of yourself. Your mother gave birth to you.
Yes, that.
And I'm coming to this. Your mother gave birth to you. But as men, you gotta get to a certain level in your life where you realize that the love you have for your mother and the love you have for your wife, there has to be some surgery done. For your mother, that is something you can never change. But also for your mother, she needs to understand that she gave birth to a son
Yes.
who matriculated into manhood. Now, as a man, he has to build a legacy for himself. Let that boy go. You're holding on to a boy while dealing with a man.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry about what his father did not do. I've heard a mother say to her son, like father, like son. What are you thinking about? You're pouring your own toxin into my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You want to manipulate him into a man he is not. He's discovering himself. The same thing to the daughters. Mother, let your daughter go. Her relationship is not the place to fight the lost battles of your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you had this conversation once, and we talked about, and I say this, I don't mean to offend anyone who went to a boarding school. I never did. But let's get real. When you take a child from primary school and you put them through boarding school from 1 to upper C, how much time did you really, let's get real. How much time did you really get to develop them into the woman that today you claim they should be? They were in school, they came home on holidays, and when they got home, how many of them actually did chores around the house? I'm not bashing the sisters. Let's get real. They didn't really do it. Because there was some other child who came from the village that was staying at home and doing everything, cleaning, cooking, and everything, right? And when the children came home, Mommy, I need to go hang out with my friends and we'll have a sleepover. Oh, because we were of a social status. We bonded. Nothing wrong. If God favored you in that season of your life, bingo. But we gotta get real. The child goes on and then goes to the university. That's the first time of you experiencing who they really are.
Yeah.
That's where they live alone. Sometimes they live at home with the parents. The parents will think, I have the claw on you. You are going to do what? By the way, you go to church on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By the way, you know all the chapters in the Bible and all the verses. Great. Who is your child? The return of the light. Or after the return of the light. So we have to come to terms with a reality, which is we birth ourselves. We discover ourselves everywhere. Some people, we just don't need them around us because
Yep. And it's okay to let go.
you gotta let go. I'm not in a relationship to fix you. I am not. But I'm not in the relationship either for you to destroy me. Make me a better person. To this special one, I will say, hey, dear, how can I become a better person? And I have children. When you have to meet my children, I want it to be in a space first, where we are a unit. Especially, I'll be 44. Gosh. At 44, what do you think? I'm not saying being 44 is old. But my priorities are not like they were in my 20s and my 30s.
Not at
In
all.
my 20s and 30s, I was this guy who was just focused on, like,
Boom, boom,
you gotta
do it. Yeah, you gotta get it.
The
You have to
40s
build on it.
opened my mind, and I realized, bro, you know this is you, right?
Yeah.
Michelle Obama said it best in her book, I believe,
Who are
Becoming.
you?
She talks about something to the effect of, if you're not willing to go out there and invent yourself, right? Well, just be prepared. And I paraphrase. But just be prepared for others to give you an identity.
Mhm.
And the reason I like that part of the book is because every day I make a conscious decision. Who am I becoming in my thought process? Judge who you see out here, but don't play with the person that's in there, because I want it to be tabula rasa, where my God, through the influence of the Holy Spirit, can come in and write something better.
Front door locked.
If it ain't for you, don't worry about it. Whomever that is for will appreciate it. And I say, you gotta have a passion to develop your character. A lot of people will tell you, well, that's just who I am.
Oh yeah, gotta hear that a lot.
But you know, so that chap did like, yeah, and so your woman did, and so maybe, oh, that's how your husband is. No,
That's right there, yeah.
no. Let's stop validating what's wrong.
Mhm.
Nothing mandates you to talk to your partner with disrespect. I'll tell you what, I always bring this analogy to my loved ones. I say, you realize how much our relationships would be different if we treated our partners anywhere closer to how we treated our bosses. We don't even like some of those people we work with.
Very true.
But we are punctual and we are dedicated to these people.
Mhm.
Now, I love my boss. I love my coworkers. So let's get this out. I'll tell you this. I left the military at a time in my life when I had a lot to offer,
Mhm.
and God still uses me in ways. Today we have a 501c called the Cameroonian American Military Professionals Organization. We co-founded this. I was a co-founder with a gentleman, and we said, look, how can we create a platform where we can bring our brothers and sisters in arms together?
Mhm.
And today, the people who are running that organization are doing a phenomenal job. From Fort Campbell to wherever, there is a Cameroonian present ready to take a brother or a sister under their wing to guide them through the course. We've seen greater numbers of our brothers and sisters becoming not just serving in the military, but moving up the ranks.
That's good. That's actually something that's going to tell us for you that again at some point when you have time, I could slot time to read if we can have a conversation around the military here in the US, because I've had people have asked me a couple of questions around that. I'm not in the military, but hey, when you talk to someone, again, I always go out and I talk to people, hey, what do you want for yourself? I tell people you can be anything. And I still find the chance at what do you want for yourself? And in some cases, you hear someone say, I really love the military. I hear it is a good thing to serve in the military in America, but at the same time, I'm so scared. I don't want to have to go to war. And I know I talked to someone that is in your field, and they're like, hey, someone will say, hey, I don't think I'm strong enough. I don't think I'm built for that. But at the same time, there is more in the military than active, than combat. I don't know if that's the right word to say. But again, so that's something that I've always wanted to talk to you about. We can do that at some point again when you have time. But that's information that is very much sought out there. Like the people that talk to, because they're not aware, they don't know. Right. And again, it would be an opportunity.
Very briefly, CAMP, CAMP. If you go on Facebook, on Instagram, right? Go on there and type it. You see, and you just drop your message or request, right? We have a dynamic team. Somebody will reach out to you, right? There are U.S. service members of Cameroon descent who are recruiters, who are in all capacities. Somebody will reach out to you.
Okay.
And we so some of us like, oh no, you joined the military because you want to kill people and it's
war.
I joined the military because it was my act of appreciation. This country gave me more, and I'm not undermining my land of birth, but this country gave me opportunities. Today, I'm like, wow. You know, I tried joining the military in Cameroon, gendarmerie, and all of that. The army recruitment in 1998. I didn't make it. My father was a soldier, and he said he was not going to bribe anybody. I should perform, and if I didn't get it, okay, whatever. I did the gendarmerie concours, and I was never selected. Well, they didn't even allow us to write our exams because they told us we had passed the age limit to register for the exam. But when you took our documents, hello, somebody was checking. Why didn't they tell us? But again, you have to respect the laws of the land. So I came to the US and I joined the military. And what a tremendous experience. What a unique experience, I must say. If I had to do it all over again, yes, I will. You know, today, thanks to CAMP, we're still serving, active, as retired, and more importantly, spouses. So the stereotype of soldiers are this, soldiers are that, remove it. By the way, let me use this platform to say we have our convention that's coming up this year in Killeen, Texas. Go on the Cameroonian American Military Professionals page and come to Killeen and see what these men and women do. We have parents back in Cameroon who are calling, who know whom to call here to know how their children are doing. That's who we are. By extension, thanks to the military, I found myself today, working still. I have my full-time job as working for the government, but then also to the side, I work with another nonprofit, right? The African Diaspora Coalition of Tennessee. We put together this initiative with very brilliant minds to say, how can we foster the socioeconomic empowerment of the African diaspora across the state of Tennessee? We're everywhere, but this is a platform to bring people together. And all of these go down, they boil down to one thing which the military taught me, selfless service.
Service. And I take this opportunity to say thank you for your service. So far. Yeah. This is amazing. Collins, we've had such a great chat. Like just for the time that we've been talking and planning to do this, and I bugging you like, hey, you gotta be in town so we can do this. And I am super happy that this finally happened today. And hey, if you're listening to this, yes, there is more that you want to hear from Colin. So please put it, comment wherever you happen to watch this, be it on the website, on YouTube, on Facebook. Let me know if you want him back, and I'll hunt him and I'll tell him like, hey, this we want to hear more from you. But if you ask me, I definitely want to have you again on this platform. Let's talk. There's stuff that we've talked about today that I definitely wanted to expatiate on, but I held back because I wanted you to bring your thoughts as they come on, because I respect how people think and how the information, how their thoughts flow, and I wanted to respect that. And I've had a tremendous time listening to you, and hey, thank you so much for respecting my invitation.
It's actually a privilege to be on this platform, and ultimately, thank you. You are an ambassador of good, of hope to the community, and may your platform continue to be enriching as it is, and I hope that better, and I pray that better voices come on this platform. So I've never done this, so lesson learned. And next time I'll have to take the application and submit it to the headquarters for review and approval. But certainly, but here's the thing that I leave with. No matter what we do, no matter what we've been through, we owe it to ourselves to be appreciative, first to own it, to appreciate what we've been through, to learn from it, to empower, and ultimately to have fun.
It's like I do on this show.
Don't have fun? I am sorry, to some, drink, party, clothes, whatever. But whatever you do, just remember, make somebody better. Whether you love them or you don't agree with them, leave them better than you found them. At least if they can move on to the next chapter of their lives with that notion, regardless of anything, you still respected them, and it's an amazing thing. To me, that's what I think. So thank you for this opportunity, and I think I leave here a better person than I came in.
Awesome. You see, he just responded. He didn't even let me give him the chance to do his microphone thing, where you guys all know what I do. Like, hey, this is your microphone. This is an opportunity for you to talk to the world. And what is it that you're going to tell them? He just responded to that without even waiting for me to say it. But hey, Captain Sakwe, I thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and it's been an amazing time chatting with you. All right. Thank you, Collins. I appreciate it. And hey, we hope to see you again on this platform. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate you once more.
Thank you.
Awesome.